Hello, my name is Mac Arfalo. For my third presentation, I will be discussing the history of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, or simply put, NASCAR. So where did it all start? Auto racing comes in many forms. In America, stock car racing has become one of the most popular sports, and NASCAR one of the most recognizable brands. Formula One racing takes center stage throughout Europe and is expanding internationally. Yet there are many other forms of racing, including touring car, production car, rally car, karting, and more. A Paris journal organized the first multi-competitor race on July 22, 1894. However, it was a reliability test, and not all competitors began simultaneously. A year later, the first race, in which all competitors began the event at the same time, started in Paris. The winner was disqualified because his vehicle did not have the mandatory 4 seats. Throughout the 20th century, auto racing branched out worldwide, and a variety of auto racing divisions developed. So where did NASCAR come into play? Since its inception in 1947, NASCAR has expanded at a rate comparable to some of the speeds seen around the track. Broadcasting in over 150 countries and holding 17 of the top 20 attended single-day sporting events in the world. In addition, it claims 75 million fans who purchase over $3 billion worth of licensed products annually. And all this sprang up from humble beginnings. Recognizing a need and the potential opportunity that accompanied it, Bill France Sr. of Daytona Beach, Florida, held a meeting at the Streamline Hotel in December 1947 to discuss the problems facing stock car racing. When the meeting adjourned, NASCAR had been born, with the point system written on a barroom napkin. So who is Bill France Sr.? Bill France Sr. was born in Washington, D.C., and lived there until his early 20s. His father was a teller at Park Savings Bank in Washington, and his son might have followed in his footsteps with the exception that he had a fascination with the automobile and how it performed. As a teenager, Bill Sr. would often skip school and take the family car to a nearby track and run laps until he had enough time to get the car, a Model T Ford, back home before his father got home. He had several hands-on jobs until he eventually owned his own service station. France was obsessed with the idea that a single-family governed sanctioning body was necessary if a stock car was to be a success. He was well aware as a driver and promoter that the minor league sanctioning bodies reeked of inconsistency. The first meeting of the National Association for Stock Car Automobile Racing was held on December 12, 1947 at the Streamline Inn Motel in Daytona Beach, Florida. The organization named Bill France Sr. as its first president. Bill France gathered together a group of racing promoters, drivers, and mechanics with the dream of establishing an organization to set a standard set of rules and regulations to help promote stock car racing. And NASCAR was born. The original intent of NASCAR was to offer 3 distinct divisions: modified, roadster, and strictly stock. But as it turned out, fans could have cared less for the roadsters, perceiving them as Northeast or Midwest pursuit. In February of 1949, France staged a 20-mile exhibition race near Miami for a strictly stock division. Fearing he would lose out to a promoter in North Carolina, France decided to stage a strictly stock points race. This race took place in June and was scheduled as a 200-lap, 150-mile race around a 3/4-mile dirt track. It carried a purse of $5,000 for 33 street-legal family sedans that had been built since 1946. The first NASCAR strictly stock race was held at Charlotte Speedway and won by Jim Roper after Glenn Dunaway was disqualified for altering his rear springs. The strictly stock division was initially raced with almost no modifications to the factory models. Over the decade that would follow, modification of things like brakes and the muffler were eventually allowed for both safety and performance. And this was just the start. NASCAR's future began to come in focus in 1956. NASCAR sanctioned 11 paved track races among 56 events. They had 14 out of 53 venues in 1957 and 24 out of 51 venues in 1958. Not only were they racing on oval tracks, France also scheduled road course races at Watkins Glen, New York, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and Bridgehampton, New York. Suddenly, almost overnight, it seemed NASCAR racing was becoming a national series rather than a regional series. Bill France's dream was heading towards the future. Then came television. By the mid-1960s, vehicles appearing on the track had a stock car body and were built for the specific purpose of racing. With the addition of cars' accessories that included performance brake pads and catalytic converters. With a green light from highly supportive fans, NASCAR's Premier Division took the lead in worldwide motorsports attendance in 1976 with more than 1.4 million spectators in the stands. Television soon followed, and the 1979 Daytona 500 became the first 500-mile race in history to be telecast live in its entirety. Corporate sponsorship soon followed, with Fortune 500 companies sponsoring the events, individual races, and teams as well. Not bad for something that still remains a family-owned business. To sum things up, the vivid history of the sport has a home in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, which opened in 2010 in Charlotte, North Carolina. The family business continues to thrive today under the leadership of grandson Brian Z. France, and they only expect bigger things for the future. Thank you.